Hi guys, welcome Pisces to your October 2019 reading. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, that makes sense because this is a brand new channel. I've been reading tarot for the past few years now, but I was doing it as dailies over on Facebook, and I decided to transition here so that I could reach more of you. So this reading is going to be for October 2019 for the sign of Pisces. That's Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Please do note that timing is fluid, so whenever you come across this video, that's when it's meant for you. Don't worry so much about the date. If you find, because it's a general reading for the zodiac sign, it won't resonate with everyone. There may be multiple storylines coming through. Take what you can, leave the rest. If you're seeking a private reading specifically, feel free to reach out. There will be information in the description box below. So I have meditated thinking about you, Pisces, with the cards, and we're going to do a little shuffle here and see what the overarching energy is for the month. I'm trying to think of any more information. Sorry that these are late. They're taking a lot longer than I expected. But I hope that you enjoy it. I hope it's helpful. I hope you are well. And let's see what comes through in our Libra season. Well, that's some very good energy for our Pisces. I'm going to get one more here. What does Pisces need to know for October 2019? Pisces. What does Pisces need to know from Spirit? Oh, golly. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so our overarching energy. We've got the Three of Pentacles, so this is working very hard on, it's focusing on ideas. So Pentacle energy is earth energy. It is the apprentice. It is the making plans, not necessarily acting on them yet. It's having lots of ideas embedded in the financial realm or getting started on a project. It could be creative, it could not. This is sort of my back to school energy for sure. But it's definitely fresh eyes, bringing new wisdom that could represent you or someone else close to you. It really is the apprenticeship card. So in that sense, so we're looking at the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. It's a young person who is perhaps an engineer, coming with some ideas to help these older folks. Here we've got our monk and I think a priest looking at the plans for this temple or this church that they're building. So it's this energy of being around people that you can really learn from. It's about bringing your knowledge and recognizing your knowledge even if you happen to be a younger person, still an apprentice or an intern or whatever it is that you are, that you do bring amazing things to the table, that you do have knowledge to share. That is an energy for you, Pisces, in Libra season. Also the sun, which is really lovely. There's going to be joy, there's going to be good things. I don't know if it's necessarily a relaxing time. I don't get that sense, but there is goodness and sunlight. The interesting thing is that we did get one more that fell out. Well, there's a group of them, and this one fell out at the top, and we got the Tower card. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but if this is an overarching energy, if you're new to the tarot, let me explain the Tower. The Tower was essentially, it's a card that symbolizes the story of building the Tower of Babel to try and reach divinity or God, and it gets struck down by spirit, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, by this very exciting lightning bolt here, and everyone falls down. So essentially what that means is it's not taking any shortcuts to get to self-actualization, your enlightenment, or achieving whatever goal it is that you're moving towards. It is a rude awakening. It's a sudden shattering of the foundation or a false sense of safety. So everything that you thought to be true, falling apart. Is this really an energy that we necessarily want, Pisces, as our overarching energy? No, but there is some positivity to the Tower card, in that the Tower, especially because you're seeing it now, you can expect something that will come up. And I get the feeling that either it's the Tower that is going to lead you to sunshine, moving towards freedom, fluidity, more of just like happier times. It may come through a painful event. It's sort of hard to say. There is the possibility here that, whatever it is that you're working on or you're building that feels nice and sunny and amazing could be disrupted. That's also something that could potentially happen. So I think it's very important to be aware, figure out what's going on in your life that you might be, because Pisces, you're very dreamy. You're very dreamy, and you do enjoy indulging in your fantasy. And hey, I'm a Taurus, and I still also indulge in that myself. But there's a certain level of that happens with the Piscean folks and their energy, that it's important not to get stuck in fantasy without building a solid foundation for whatever it is that you're doing. And maybe that's what this is about. Three of Pentacles. What is your foundation? Is it strong enough that it can support you so that the entire tower doesn't necessarily fall when something hard comes? Because you do want to be maintaining that joy and that loving energy. Something to consider. So we're going to ask Spirit for what messages Pisces needs to hear for October 2019. Messages for Pisces 2019. Okay. Well, that's lovely. Ooh. Okay. Pisces, October 2019. What does Pisces need to hear for October 2019? Please make it plain. Make it clear. Ooh. All right. Okay, this is good. Pisces. Ooh. What does Pisces need to know? Oh, golly. Oh my goodness gracious, Pisces. Things are good. Things are good. So this is our sunshine, but we're going to clarify some of these things. But amazing. So we have this is equivalent to the Ace of Cups here. Love begins, number one of the heart suit in this deck. This is the Psychic Tarot by John Holland. This is beautiful. This is an offering of love or a communication about emotions. And it's interesting because all of the readings so far have been talking about communication. Most signs so far have had a blockage to communication. This is not. There is going to be a communication to you about love, or you're going to communicate to someone else about love. And it's divinely guided. It's very, very special, very important in your life. It's really interesting. There's so many positive cards here, and then that sneaky tower. So it does make me want to tell you just to be aware of, all of this beautiful, beautiful energy. Be careful not getting swept up and swept away by the emotion of love. It seems to me like, I don't know, either something of the past is going to be revived, which could be lovely. It could be someone new coming in, but something to do with love begins in your life. And I really get the feeling that it's a sense of relief for you. Something is getting sorted. And I love even though it's a one energy, those two trees, because we are in Libra season and it's all about coming to a space of equilibrium. Do be aware, gosh, it sounds like such a Debbie Downer. Do be aware that Libra season will pass. So this energy of coming back into equilibrium or wanting to come into equilibrium. So for example, if you are not in communication with your person, or if things need to be sorted out, or some sort of balance, justice, that sort of thing, temperance, energy, come back into relationship, that will happen at this time if that's what you move towards. But that energy does shift with the season, right? So just be aware of that. But for the moment, things look pretty good. We've got the Fool energy, new beginnings. And she's just like, She's like a warrior with her staff there. It's a very different Fool card than the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. This really points towards someone who has learned a lesson, has been through challenge, and it's like the difference between like a new Fool and like an older, wiser Fool. Because when we think about the major arcana, the 22 cards that go from 0, the Fool card, to 21, which is the World, that whole journey is the hero's journey or the heroine's journey. And it is the spiritual journey of a person. And, you weren't born yesterday. You've come out of some sort of journey that has now come to completion, and you've got new beginnings. You've got new beginnings in yourself and with this other person, because this apparently is a love reading. I don't know, as I said, I don't know if this is starting over. Something to do with love. The communication about love is really important. That's the thing. When we get the aces, it's about like an offering. Someone is offering you love, or you are offering love. That's exactly it. And it brings about this new beginning for you, but it's like you come back around. Life is not linear. Time is not linear. We're moving upward in spirals. So we have these moments where things can get really dark and we feel like we're coming back down or backwards to where we've been before. And we're like, oh my God, I've done this before, this pattern, this cycle. Why does this keep happening? But you're higher up than you were before. And you bring knowledge with you in your bag. She's got a little bag here. You bring knowledge with you that you didn't have the last time you were in this place. That's the thing about karma or karmic cycles. You find yourself sort of living out or playing out really similar situations, often in relationships specifically, until you've learned a lesson and you're like, oh my God, why is this happening again? It's supposed to. It's oftentimes with like different people, different scenario, and yet it feels so familiar. What it is it's actually not meant to make you suffer. It's an invitation for you to really draw upon your resources. What's in the bag, or like what's in your satchel of emotional experience and lessons learned in the past that you can bring into the current situation, right? In order to move you forward in a more positive way. And I see you doing that. I see lessons learned. I see finally choosing to shift something in yourself after feeling stuck for a long time. And I think it's come from finally choosing to be a student and learn rather than being in resistance to that. You will certainly gain a lot more in your life if you open yourself to the possibility that there are things to be learned from the challenges versus running away from them. And this brings victory and success. Very exciting. So this is the Six of Wands energy. So in the traditional deck, it's someone coming in with a victory wreath and they're having their parade and people are celebrating them. This is not necessarily so much spiritual success, though I think that it can be derived from this. But this is the minor arcana, so it's more what's happening in the day-to-day life, the 3D reality. I hope that you've learned. I hope that you've learned something from the previous experience. I really get the sense that you do because of that Three of Pentacles card. But victory and success really, really goes along with our Sun card. You are being celebrated for something, and that's great. I think it's making a very positive choice to do with this love relationship and the new beginning, and the feeling of success in making that choice. I don't know what that choice is. I really hope that you embody it and you take that invitation from spirit. But it's funny because in this deck, the victory and success card has that full energy to it, right? It has that full energy to it. Do be careful that it's great to celebrate yourself. I get the sense that this might be a little bit of showing off, potentially with your new lover or old lover, if you've gotten back with them. I don't really know. But sort of like tooting your own horn. There's a little bit of like feeling so good that we could be, I don't know, be careful. Maybe on social media, like posting tons of pictures or things like that, and just, be careful of the compare and despair thing as well. That could be hurtful to other people. I don't know. Just, I get the sense that you are being celebrated, but do this within reason. Keep your head, Pisces, keep your head. What is really interesting about that card is that it really mimics the Fool energy, because the Fool in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is on the edge of a cliff, sort of arms wide open, dog nipping at its heels, going, oh my God, please don't fall off the cliff. But, you are ready and open. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm so open to love. Very transformative time for you in love. Very exciting. I hope that works out for you. It's also interesting because we have this red flag that we also see in both the Sun card and the Victory and Success card. So to me, it really does represent that love energy. You're celebrating your love. You're really excited. You're feeling proud. Being in union finally after a period of not being in union with whomever this is. And what's really special is that this is to you a spiritual union. 2 of Cups energy. So this really is, I find the 2 of Cups or spiritual union card to be even more profound than the Lover's card. The Lover's card often represents choice as well. There's ambiguity to that one. The 2 of Love, or the 2 of Cups in spiritual union in this deck, is very, very profoundly speaking to the energy of the Ace, right? This really, really is deep, deep love. There is the possibility that it's friendship love. There's the possibility that it could be coming into spiritual union or understanding something about yourself, finding self-love. That's just as valid and just as important as romantic love, if not more, in my opinion. Working on self-love is really, really important. I do think that it's very easy to avoid having to dive deep and come into a space of truly loving yourself when we're constantly seeking outside of ourselves, really, really wanting to chase that sunshine and get caught up in fantasy. Just be aware of it, because it can be just as easily taken away, right? So it's about finding groundedness in Libra season. It's about finding a way to experience that joy, the joy of new love, and really coming into spiritual union with someone and yourself, because that helps even the scale, so that you don't put so much energy into a relationship that you become completely ungrounded from the tipping of the scales, because you haven't put any weight into your own self-development, self-love, and self-care. Really, really important. This is beautiful. It has the infinity symbol in it right there. They're connected at the third eye. And something about that leaf speaks to nature, being in nature, potentially, the 2 of you. But coming into this spiritual union is that something on a spiritual level. So if you've been in separation, the connection that has happened has been building on a different level, a different dimension, if you will, even if it hadn't come to fruition yet. So it looks like for you, this love is transforming both yourself and the other person, and it truly was meant to be in that way, and that's very exciting, and it makes me very happy for you. And then this really clears up anything that was potentially on your mind. Triumphant success. So this is the Ace of Sword energy. Again, divinely guided energy. It's kind of a creepy image, honestly, busting out of the earth. It's like a zombie. But this sword represents the mind. So there's something about coming into union finally. Maybe that communication comes through. Clarity, new beginning, starting over with somebody, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, now it all makes sense. clarity. This is the clarity card, and boy, like, you are not the only person who's gotten this card in their reading. Luckily for you, Pisces, it comes in like a very enjoyable way. It comes through that romantic connection, that love coming through. It's really beautiful, and I think, I get the sense that it's a double-edged sword, right? So there's light on one side, there's dark on the other, yin and yang energy, right? That fusion, feminine, masculine, and we all embody those energies, even if you're in a same-sex couple, totally fine. Even if you're gender non-conforming, totally fine. We still do have yin and yang energies in us, the active and receptive energies. But it's also, you can't have the light without the dark. You can't have the dark without the light. Both have very important, nourishing, and essential qualities to them. I talk about this in all the other videos, repeating myself so much. But this is becoming clear to you in this recognition of triumphant success. There really is this like energy of like, hoo-hoo, let's celebrate coming through with this joy and excitement, and yeah, feeling very triumphant. And I love that for you. I really do. I'm a little scared about the tower now, though. Why did the tower come out? I don't know. I don't want you to fall off your horse. I don't want you to fall off your horse or your cliff, right? But it seems to me that if you remember all the lessons that you've learned, you've got a little bit of a walking on outer space, air, water abilities. So it's not that you can actually walk in outer space, but if you choose to learn the lessons, excuse me, frog in my throat. If you choose to learn the lessons, there's a deep possibility that when a wrench gets thrown in the plans, it won't necessarily destroy you or the relationship. I think that that's some pretty important growth for you, Pisces. So let's do some clarifications. We're going to clarify the love begins. I really do want to clarify the tower at some point, but we'll clarify the love begins card. What does Pisces need to know for October 2019 regarding the love begins card? What does Pisces need to know? Ooh, oh my goodness gracious. Okay, nope, too many. Ah, there it goes. What's that? Throat chakra. Hey, communication. Oh my god, every reading. Love can only begin when you communicate something to somebody, or a communication comes through for you. Throat chakra. Why am I not surprised? Oh my goodness gracious. Seriously, every single reading. It's like you can't escape it. It's playing out very positively for you, Pisces. That didn't necessarily happen for all the other signs, but there's the overarching energy of the collective, which has very much been about throat chakra and heart chakra blockages. So what needs to happen in order for the love to begin and for things to start to flow? Communication, baby. That's what it's all about. Let's clarify. Oh, there's the kitty cat behind you. Hopefully she doesn't knock the computer over. What does Pisces need to know about this new beginning? This new beginning is making you look at your shadow. So there's really, really amazing good things coming from it, but this, to me, because there's a spiritual union, this was a karmic relationship, this is a spiritual relationship, there are very, very important reasons why you are in that relationship. And the new beginning can only come when you address your shadow, and that's a choice. You have free will. I cannot necessarily tell your future. All I can do is look at the cards, feel the energy, and recognize a pattern that I see in front of me. And what I see, the shadow card has come out for nearly everyone. This is really weird. I mean, weird, but not surprised. You can only have the love. You can only have real love. Like, we have lots of relationships that we go through in our lives. If you're someone who likes to date, Pisces, you're definitely an attractive sign. Pisces is a sign that you go with the flow, you move around, you see lots of places in the world, lots of connections, you get lots of attention, all of that good stuff. It's wonderful. but there can be a slipperiness and avoidance of certain things, and really looking at your shadow is what's going to bring you into a space where you finally experience the depth of love and understanding that you actually really crave. But when we do Celtic cross spreads, for example, there's one position on the side that's called hopes and fears. And it's one card that represents both your hopes and your fears. And that's the thing. Oftentimes, the things that we have pushed into our shadow, that we have deemed unacceptable in our childhood because, it would have caused rejection by our parents or our peer group or whatever. Watch any of the readings and I blab on and on about this, but it's Jungian psychology and I'm a counselor, so I love to talk about it. The shadow's not a bad place. There's amazing things in the shadow, good things in the shadow, that we have to bring into the light. But we run away sometimes from the things that would be the best for us, that would bring us the most growth. Because growth can be painful, growing pains, spiritual growing pains. Sometimes we just don't want to deal with it. And this is really speaking to if you want that new beginning with your own self-love and come into spiritual union, because love begins is first, and then the new beginnings, the shadow work, and the throat chakra clearing is associated with that. You haven't yet come into spiritual union. Sorry, just looking at my kitty cat. She just popped out from behind the curtain. Just gonna come over and knock everything over, I'm sure. Hi. What are you doing? Get down. Get down. Nope. Anyways. So, going and doing your shadow work. Everyone has been invited to do their shadow work for October. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be the greatest act of self-love and also expression of love to people that you're in union with, that you can possibly do. Hi, yeah. So let's clarify this victory and success card for Pisces, October 2019. Victory and success card. What does Pisces need to know about victory and success card? Solar plexus. You have to take action. And that really comes into alignment with our sun card, right? But we have this solar plexus energy that's coming in under victory and success. This new beginning, going into the shadow, doing all of this stuff that you've been avoiding, clearing the throat chakra, communicating, is actually going to bring you into such a feeling of expansion and joy, which is so ironic because the running away from it seems very prevalent for all the signs. Some are digging in more than others, but Pisces, you really got to go there. And once you go there, you'll be able to experience this light energy. Notice that the light has the upper hand, but there's an acknowledgement between the two of them, a recognition. I do not exist without you. You do not exist without me. We need one another, the light and the dark, in order to experience the joy. You can't have, you can't understand what light means without the dark, and you can't find the value of the dark if you don't understand the concept of light, because you wouldn't see the stars, right? I know it's very cheesy, but it's true. Hi. Yes, hello. Because the stars are suns that are very, very far away. Anyways, solar plexus. Once you do this, once you do that healing and do the work, this feeling of victory and success is going to be radiating out of you. You're going to feel like that sun that, oh my gosh, there's a cat that just ran across the tarot spread. I don't know if you saw her. Okay, come here. You're going to want to express it so much. It's such a shift, and that comes from healing the throat chakra. There's this huge blockage for everyone right now. It's really crazy. I thought it was just me, the Tauruses. There was a blockage. It's like, no, everyone. That desire to communicate, once you do it, something's going to shift, get moving, and it's going to feel so good. You just feel like you are the sun. That's beautiful. Oh my gosh, we're at 29 minutes. Let's clarify spiritual union for Pisces. Oh dear. Fulfillment of wishes. Oh my gosh, I haven't gotten this card. So we're clarifying our spiritual union card. Clarified by fulfillment of wishes. Holy moly, that is our 9 of Cups energy, and it's beautiful. All of that water has turned from a little trickle. The alchemy of the spiritual union opens up the dam, and you've got 2 waterfalls, and you're like loving on each other, and it feels so good. And rising up from the center is this natural, beautiful wisdom. There's a treasure chest in front. It's interesting because all that glitters was one of the cards that someone else got. There was a treasure chest on that one. Anyways, actually 2 people got that. Two signs. I can't remember anymore. My memory is like a goldfish. Anyways, so we have our fulfillment of wishes card, and once that dam opens, this spiritual union, like, you cannot stop this love. You can't stop it. Don't get swept away again. You're gonna feel that triumphant success once this has been set into motion. Things have been clarified and it starts to feel good. Something really, really transforms. I'm so excited for you, Pisces. And this is wish fulfillment and accomplishment as well. Feels awfully good when those love waterfalls start flowing, but you have to let that happen. And that happens from being a student, being willing to learn, being willing to go into the shadow, clear up that communication business. What is going on with you, Pisces? Okay, let's clarify the triumphant success card. This is going to be a little bit longer for you, Pisces. What does Pisces need to know? Wow, oh my gosh, I've never seen this card before. I don't know this deck very well, but I had looked at all the cards. Anyways, balance. Wow, sorry, I'm hogging it. Look at that. Balance, I'm assuming that that's equivalent to the temperance card. I'll double check really quickly, but it's interesting. It has a huge, huge energy of the magician, like alchemy. When you heal this relationship, whatever it is that needs to happen and this love starts to transform, like, this is truly on a spiritual level, spiritual union. It's karmic, but there's the potential here that maybe this is also twin flame. Take it or leave it, whatever that means to you. But this energy, the 1-1, reminds me of the pillars of the high priestess. But this is like, anyone can embody that energy. She's technically the 2 card. This is 11. This is temperance. I mean, that's, talk about Libra season energy, restoring the balance. Once I see the light here, it's like 2 energies, and I see them coming together. Everything comes full circle, finally coming into union. And when you do that, it's like the relationship is blessed in a way. It's divinely guided, and all of a sudden, all of the elements, your wand, pentacle, cup, and sword, are there for you to use. You create magic together. You create complete alchemy. Like, this is so beautiful. I'm freaking out for you, Pisces. And I think it's been a long time coming as well. I get the sense. Anyways, we're going to clarify the Tower card. I feel that that's very important. I don't know what's going to come through, guys. I hope it's good news, but what does Pisces need to know about the Tower card in October 2019? Please make it plain, make it clear. What does Pisces need to know about the Tower card for October 2019? I'm very happy for you, Pisces. This is really lovely. Ooh. Oh my gosh, the cards are like flipping upside down and going all over the place, but they're not coming out. Maybe we don't get to know. Maybe we do get to know. Okay. We have very polarized energies here. We've got crown chakra. How beautiful. So that's the top chakra. So it's, once you've tapped into your psychic wisdom, recognize that what's happening is really, really developing on a spiritual level, and giving that relationship the acknowledging that that relationship is happening on a spiritual level. That it's, I mean, it sounds woo-woo, but hey, we're here reading the tarot, so we're already woo-woo. Let's just dive in. Recognizing that it's happening on a different dimension to a certain extent. Meant to be, divinely guided, all that stuff, and really tapping into that. You know, that's when it starts to flow. The information really starts to flow through that crown chakra. There's a major healing happening here. We had throat chakra, solar plexus chakra, crown chakra. There's not very many chakras. There's only so many. They're coming through big time, Pisces. You've got a lot of healing to do. I really hope you step into that. The Tower moment. I don't know if the Tower moment triggers the relationship or it takes it away. I don't know. I don't see anything being taken away. The Tower card is clarified by the Temptation card. There is a temptation. I think you might be offered like some sort of communication that offers you a choice and you take it or leave it. One leads you to this beautiful love and triumphant success, but there is a temptation to push it away. Do you see that? It's like, are you going to turn away from, because you're being offered this like obviously supercharged, divine, amazing, magic, spiritual key to love. And it's like, are you going to turn away from it, or are you going to move towards the light? That's your choice, Pisces. That's your choice. There may be a Tower moment that makes you realize that you've been moving away from something that can lead you to spiritual growth. But there's so much healing that has to be done here. And it's like you have to acknowledge that if you want to move down this path with somebody, if it's going to work, you have to step up. You have to do your healing work. You have to do your shadow work. You got to learn to communicate. You got to step into your power. Like, if you want that victory and success, that's like taking the initiative, not running away from, the responsibility. It's so beautiful to me that, so I'm just going to show you this pattern here. So we've got the throat chakra, which is stuff in the shadow, and then once you deal with it, coming into the light and experiencing the joy of, you're being asked to take the initiative and communicate. It's going to help heal this obviously very spiritual relationship that seems to be unfolding in a different dimension and not so much on the 3D, but there's this invitation, there's this opportunity. And then ultimately, if that happens, then you get your crown chakra healing. It's so gorgeous. I have goosebumps. It's just, and it's not just because I have wet hair. But yeah, you are tempted to turn away from it. When the Tower, it's so funny that the Tower is clarified by a healing card. So like crown chakra, your divine wisdom, and the key to love. That's what's being offered by the Tower. That's a pretty great Tower. But there's a potential that you're going to turn away from it and not accept that invitation. Then who knows what will happen. So, I'm going to, oh my gosh, we're at 38 minutes. I'm going to do one of these. This is our Soul Lessons and Soul Purpose Oracle card deck by Sonia Coquette. What does Pisces need to know for October 2019? It's weird. Don't push the envelope. I'm going to go to the book for that one. I've never seen that card before. Okay. Do you feel pressured, impatient, and ready for the next step to get to the future you dream of? Are you eager for higher direction and wish the universe would get going on your schedule because it's too slow for you? Are you waiting expectantly for things to get better? If so, relax because the future begins now. Your soul's purpose right now is to fully embrace your creative power in the moment. And this guy here. And stop your brain from making you crazy. Stop believing that today is less important, less exciting, or less attractive than the elusive future. The present lays the groundwork for the days that come. And only by completely grasping it can you set the stage for new opportunities. Building foundation, baby. Turn off your brain's emergency valve and focus on what is now. Listen to your higher self, not your fears. Just let your inner teacher direct you. Oh, so this could be inner student and inner teacher. Very true. Direct you today to your desired outcome tomorrow. Stop pushing the universe to work faster for you. You have all the time in the world to achieve what you want when you heed your inner voice. Time spent following your fears is time wasted. So enjoy the rewards and peace of this moment. Oh my gosh, my tummy just growled so loud. Sorry if you heard that. Time spent following your fears is time wasted, so enjoy the rewards and peace of this moment. Yeah, someone's feeling a little bit pulled in a few different directions, let's be honest. It's interesting. It's like there's a desire. An interesting card to come out. It's really pointing towards listening to the inner teacher, and I think that there's a lot of like, I have to do this, I have to do that, like very much in the 3D, something that's distracting from this spiritual process that's trying to unfold, and like I can't help but just keep picking up these cards right here, the balance, like look, that's pretty profound. And the fulfillment of wishes card, oh, it just brings me so much joy. Yeah. It's a time for stepping back and letting other people help a little bit in whatever your current reality is, whatever it is that you're dealing with, and then shift inwards to allow some of this healing to happen, Pisces, so that this process, this very spiritual union, can actually unfold. Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. I hope this was helpful to you, Pisces. I'm going to stop and not do another oracle. I think that's very clear. Enjoy your October. Best of luck, and I will see you soon.